Our goal in creating truth tables, our goal in inventing them, is to be able to use them to analyze the relationships between statements. And one of our key goals is determining whether or not an argument is valid. So we would like to be able to use truth tables to analyze an argument. And what we mean by that is we want to analyze the argument formally. And in this case, very specifically, we mean we want to analyze the argument by looking at its form. To see the form of the argument, we want to write the argument symbolically. So we want to symbolize all of the statements in the argument. So here's an example argument that we would like to symbolize. Jasmine must either go to work or find a substitute. She can't go to work today, therefore she must find a substitute. We have this therefore marking our conclusion for us, so we know that the conclusion is she must find a substitute. Who's she in this story? She is Jasmine. So our conclusion is Jasmine must find a substitute. The other two statements in this argument are our premises. We have Jasmine must either go to work or find a substitute. That's our first premise. We also have she can't go to work today. Again, she is Jasmine. So our second premise is Jasmine can't go to work today. Okay, so we've identified the premises and conclusion. Now we want to symbolize those. In order to symbolize these statements, we need to identify the simple statements involved in this argument. Now, this first premise is a compound statement with an or in it. The second premise is a negative statement. As we analyze this, that's what we want to be on the lookout for. It looks like the pieces of the first premise, right? We have a piece about Jasmine going to work and a piece about Jasmine finding a substitute. Putting these in just kind of the basic present tense, I think one of our simple statements is Jasmine goes to work. We could call that P. And our other simple statement is Jasmine finds a substitute. We can call that Q. Now, again, we're seeing why we need to make our simple statements positive, or at least be consistent in how we symbolize a statement. Because in our first premise, we have Jasmine must go to work or find a substitute. That's going to be P, Jasmine goes to work, or Q, Jasmine finds a substitute. But then in our second premise, we have Jasmine can't go to work. That's going to be not P. And we're going to see that it's very important in analyzing this argument that we use the same simple statement for those two occurrences of Jasmine goes to work. Even though one of them is negated, we'll just use the negation there. And then our conclusion, Jasmine must find a substitute. That's just Q. To represent that this is an argument, we draw something that actually looks a lot like a math problem. We have one premise, P or Q, and then on the next line we write not P, and then we draw a line underneath and these three dots, and we write Q. We draw a line under the premises, and we use this symbol with the three dots, which we read typically as therefore, to indicate the conclusion. And that looks kind of like when we write out like long addition or something. The things we're putting together, and then we have a line underneath, and then The conclusion we think of as somehow the result of the argument. And we mark the conclusion with that special therefore symbol. So that's how we go about symbolizing an argument in order to analyze it with a truth table.